3.5 million years ago, the human animals stopped swinging in trees and started walking on the ground. Each human brought down with them their own unique way of communicating, their own unique manner in which they display emotion, and their own conflicts and ego. With 8 billion of these human beings walking around the same earth, you may have a strong, compelling urge to run back up into the safety of the trees. But don't. Instead, learn. Learn how to live among the humans.
And yabba dabba do, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing good, I guess. So we are going to continue with relationships. How do you guys like my hair today, huh? Couldn't do anything with it either. All the conditioner I've been spending money on, nothing. All right. We are going to continue with relationships, and we are going to talk about relationship theories. That's right, theories. But before we do that, before we move on to theories, and I think I've got 4 of them for you today. There's tons of theories out there, but I picked 4 main ones that I think will help you the most. But before we get into theories, I want to discuss one last thing, and that is called the relationship license. That's right, the relationship license. What is a license? A license gives you permission to do something. So in relationships, we, whether it be a friend relationship, a family relationship, coworkers, or romantic. For this one, we'll stick on romantic relationships. But you give people a license, or you don't give them a license to do certain things to you. I guess we used to say we still do, but not us educated people. But the uneducated people say, people treat you the way you deserve to be treated, or people treat you the way you let them treat you. Well, this is a layman's way of saying it's the relationship license. So let's talk about this. When you first meet somebody, you don't allow them to do anything basically except talk to you. I mean, if I were to walk right up to you and put my arm around your neck and pull you in and give you a kiss, you would arrest me. But if we're dating, you gave me a license to do that. Now, before we actually begin with this license, let's talk about something called silence. What you must realize is that silence equals permission. So in other words, if I walked up to you and I slapped you in your face, I like doing that on this screen, it looks good. And if I were to slap you in your face and you didn't say anything, you kind of gave me permission I could slap you in the face because you didn't say anything. How many times do people do stuff that they know is wrong, society knows it's wrong, and then when you say, why did you do that? They say, well, you didn't tell me not to. So silence equals permission. So let's say the first day you are with somebody and you make a mistake of some sort, and your partner says to you, Jesus, are you stupid or what? Now, calling somebody you love stupid isn't too cool. We do stupid things, but we're not stupid. If you don't say anything to that person when they called you stupid, they're going to call you stupid again down the road. That's the way it's going to work. And about the 4th time, you're going to turn around and you're going to say, call me stupid. And guess what? They're going to be confused. You know why? Because they called you stupid 4 times and you never said anything to them. So they thought it was okay. They thought you gave them a license to call them stupid. So, how do you do this? And it doesn't even have to be about you. I had a friend, an older man from a different generation, but I'm not excusing him. But one day we were talking about one of the workers in our building, and he called him a derogatory name, because he's gay, but my friend Danny called him a derogatory name for it. Now, I could have just ignored it, even though it bothered me tremendously. I could have ignored it, and he would have continued saying it. But instead, the first time he said it, I nipped it in the bud. If you got a flower, you nip it once that bud starts growing. If you don't want the bud, you have to nip it right away. How do you do that? You do it with a lot of respect. I said, Danny, I cannot allow you. Look how I use the word allow. Danny, I can't allow you to use those kind of words around me. If so, I can't be your friend. And Danny said, oh, what, are you gay too? Blah, blah, blah. I said, Danny, I'm just letting you know, I and the people in my world don't use that word. If you want to be part of my world, you cannot use that word. Now, he gave some grief about it, but he never used that word after I said that. I did not allow him the license to use that word around me. So sometimes it's not only the way they treat you, but it could be something else. You have to nip it. If you nip it, now this isn't victim blaming, but if somebody does something to you and you never say it, 4 years, 5 years later, you bring it up and they go, well, you never said anything. You say, well, that never bothered me. Well, it's been bothering me ever since. I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I don't want to blame you, but it's going to be a lot harder to flip that around than if you did it when it first happened. Okay, so that's the relationship license. Little things like eating off somebody's plate. I don't give Sheila a license to do that. Sheila knows that I don't give her a license to just eat my food. I'm OCD. If I have 7 French fries, I eat 1. Then I'll eat 2. Then I'll eat another 1. And then like a fireworks show at the end where I want to jam 3 more French fries in my mouth for the final performance. All of a sudden I look down at my plate and there's only 1 left. I'm like, Sheila, I want a firework burst in my mouth. Now I only have 1 French fry. But one thing that I'm very bad about is, and I'm going to tell you not to be bad about it, is I take food off Sheila's plate. She allows that. But usually a license has to be reciprocal. Reciprocal. Reciprocal is a huge word that you should use in your relationship. In other words, if you have your partner say, hey, I want to go out, it's Friday night, but I want to go out with my friends, and you go, yeah, that's cool, go, have a great time. They're out till 3 a.m. Then the next day you say to them, I want to go out with my friends, and they go, no, you don't need to be with friends, you've got me, but that license has to be reciprocated. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't know if the gander is the male or the female. No idea. But I do know what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay. If you see some confusion in my face, it's because as I'm watching this recording, my lips are moving behind what I'm saying. So it's kind of freaking me out a bit. All right. So there's your relationship license. All right. Now let's start theories. So, what is a theory? Well, in the scientific world, and when I mean scientific, I mean biology and chemistry and science like that. There's a bunch of different things to theories. There's hypothesis and this and that. In what I'm teaching you in the social science, a theory for this is a little different. If I were to say to you, white people are attracted to white people, black people are attracted to black people, Asian are attracted to Asian people, you would throw up your hand and say, no, I know my dad married a white woman, or, my cousin married an Asian and he's from Mexico, Yeah, there are exceptions. But according to the 2020 census, 9.8 married couples say that they are in an interracial relationship. Say that fast, I can. Interracial relationship. So only 9.8 say that. So that means 90.2% are in the same deal. Whites are attracted to whites, blacks are attracted to blacks, Asians are attracted to Asians, Hispanic to Hispanic. So in other words, when I teach something like this, there's going to be exceptions to the rule. And if we were to put the word theory behind it, like the first one I'm going to tell you is the attraction theory. And one of the things it states are people are attracted to other people who are similar, how they look, how they act, and how they behave. So how they look, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. So I wouldn't be able just to teach that as a fact, because it's not a fact. There are exceptions, but 90% to 10%. Well, that 90% is worth teaching, even though there's only 10%. The sun comes up every day. That's a fact. A theory is something that happens a lot, but not always. There's a theory that April is a wet month. It rains. April showers bring May flowers. But this April, it may not rain, or it might not rain somewhere else. But that will be the exception to the rule. Okay, so a theory is based upon at least 90% of fact. Then the other 10% are exceptions. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now, I got to get another thing out of the way. We say the first theory you're going to learn, like I said, is called the attraction theory. Now, attraction. Don't think of attraction meaning, hey, that person's hot, that person's good looking. Attraction just means, it doesn't mean like love. Like if we're attracted to somebody, we fall in love with them. No, not for this one. For this one, it just means it gets your attention. So, magnets attract each other. A light attracts a moth. The moth doesn't fall in love with the light, but it attracts the moth. So what attracts our attention? So not only what gets our attention, but what do we find pleasing once it gets our attention? So this is the attractive theory. So let's talk about this. The attraction theory holds that people form relationships with those that they consider attractive. But remember, not attractive look-wise. All right, so if I'm not attracted to you, I don't form a relationship. You might be a blob. You might have I don't know, you might just be somebody that I wouldn't be attracted to. But if all of a sudden I saw you juggling, I'm attracted to you because I want to learn how to juggle, and you got a talent that I would like. So therefore, I might become your friend. All right. So attraction theory holds that people form relationships with those they consider attractive. So what do people consider attractive? All right. I already told you, but let's go into a little more depth. First one, similarity. We are attracted to people that look, act, and think like us. All right. That look like us. You don't see a short person walking down the street with a tall person. Here's where the exception comes in. But for the most part, if you just start looking at couples, their height is usually within a few inches. Their weight is usually, if you see an obese person, more than likely they're with an obese person. Not only are they attractive, but there's food in the house, obviously. Muscular people, they tend to, the health fitness people, they tend to be attracted to other people who are fit. They're not attracted to people that aren't fit. So we like people that look like us. Unfortunately, I can't find any women that are bald. I got Sheila. I don't need to be looking. All right. That act like us. I'm immature. They can walk around the house and go, whoops. And you know what? Sheila laughs. If Sheila is in a bad mood, she doesn't laugh. But I don't think I've ever went, and Sheila said, grow up. I'm immature. Sheila's immature. She doesn't make those kind of noises, but, she buys little cute little kitty things, and she has her little immature ways. I have my little immature ways. We act like each other. We both are say what's on our mind. We're both a little extroverted. We're both very humble people, and we both don't lie. We both have very good values. We're obnoxious at times. We're this, we're that, but we're not dishonest. We're good people. I'm a good man, and I know she's a good woman. We act like each other. And the last one is think like each other. Think like each other. Boy, oh boy, I feel sorry for the younger of you for you youngins. I do feel sorry for the young people that are watching this, because there was a time in the 70s and 80s where before you left to vote that morning or evening, your spouse would say, "Hey, who are you voting for?" And you'd say, "Mind your business, man. That's why they have a curtain." Husbands and wives and wives and wives and husbands, they didn't share who they voted for. It really didn't matter. I mean, as long as you're a good person, I don't care who you vote for. Doesn't that sound funny nowadays? As long as you're a good person, I don't care who you would vote for. And then people go, "Oh, but who you vote for makes you whether you're a good person or not." Really? You don't think people that carjack and murders and white collar crime and this and that, you don't think they vote as well? So what I'm trying to say is, unfortunately, we want people that think like us, and unfortunately it's went into the political. I don't think people that hate Trump would ever date somebody who likes Trump. I don't think they would allow that person to wear the MAGA hat or something like that. And I don't think a Trump supporter fan would care. I was going to say Biden would care to form a relationship with a Hillary Clinton person. See what I mean about this attraction? It's not just about look. You might be a real Trump hater, and all of a sudden you walk up to somebody that you're attracted to. And then all of a sudden they say, I can't wait to get Trump back in the White House. And you're like, oh. Somehow to you, they're not that attractive anymore. Same thing, we'll reverse it. If you're a Trump fan and you go up to a Biden person, you can't believe somebody would vote for Biden. Unfortunately, politics have really divided up this. But nonetheless, I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk about the attraction theory. So similarities, more than ever. We are attracted to people that think like us. In fact, we're almost forming little tribes. Tech people won't date outside if you're not a tech person. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Next. So we have people are attracted because of the similarity. The next one is because of proximity. People who work together, go to school together, especially if you're in a dorm room, you are attracted because they are near you. They are accessible. They are close by. This might go into a deeper deal where you might not want them far away because you don't know what's going on. Maybe you're not trusting so much. But I can give a simple thing. I fell into this before. I've been attracted to a woman, probably, absolutely when I was single, but probably the scenario was something in a bar. And it was like, yes, this is a person I'm very attracted to. And then I said, so where do you live? And they say, Staten Island. And I go, you mean with that boat? And they go, oh yeah, the ferry. It's only a 30-minute ride. I don't know too many places. Let me put it this way. I've never taken a boat to visit a girlfriend or any sort of friend. I've never taken a boat. Taken subways, buses, cabs, bikes, walk. But never a boat. Knowing she lived in Staten Island, she just wasn't that attractive anymore. Maybe this is why we say long-distance relationships are hard. to keep. How many people just don't even begin a relationship once they find out that the person lives in California? They might have a little fling here in New York City, but then the person simply says, I'm going back to California, and the other person says, I'm staying here in New York, and, hey, it was fun while it lasted. See ya. Or if that person actually lived in New York City with you, not on Staten Island. Nothing against Staten Island, by the way, no comments. But maybe you would want to keep continuing it and see if there is a long-term relationship in the cards. But them out in California, nah. The next one. We are attracted to people that give us reinforcements. Let's talk about reinforcements because they're big. Reinforcements are very similar to affirmation. In other words, a reinforcement, if you have a wall that is going to fall down, you reinforce the wall and it can't fall down. Well, we humans are walls. So let's say I think I deserve love and I'm loved. And all of a sudden I look around and I'm not getting much love. I start falling like a wall that's crumbling. And then all of a sudden, Sheila says to me, you know what? I haven't told you in a while, but I really love you. She reinforced the idea that I had, that I deserve love. Isn't that sweet? If Sheila never laughed at me, I have an idea. I'm the funniest person on the face of the earth. Would I be attracted to Sheila if every time I made a joke, she went, no, I wouldn't. She reinforces my idea that I'm funny. Reinforcements are great, and this explains a lot of times why sometimes we can't figure out why somebody is with somebody. That's going to be the social exchange theory, which will be, I think, the next theory I talk about. But let's say you have and this isn't, this is stereotypical, so I could reverse it, but let's stay with what we've seen and what we know. Let's say you have a woman, let's say you have a woman who has a real high inflated self-esteem. They think they are better than any other woman that's walked the earth. They think they are Helen of Troy. They think they are just fantastic. Thinking that they are fantastic, they think they're special and that they deserve things that they don't necessarily work for themselves. In other words, things should be just given to them. Now, let's put that woman aside and let's take a woman like Sheila, or let's take most women. If I bring home flowers, most people, men and women, are happy if they receive flowers. Well, why are they happy? First of all, the flowers need maintenance. They need water. If you're real good, you put an aspirin in the water. They need sunlight. And even if you take care of them, they are going to wither and they are slowly going to die. So why are we so happy when somebody gives us something that is of no use to us and that we have to watch slowly die? It's a living thing, yet we are given it to watch die. What good are flowers? Why are people so happy to get flowers? Because it reinforces the idea that they deserve a recognition of how special they are. And flowers are very simple because they're nature. You could basically pick flowers for free. In fact, I have. Sometimes they're more meaningful. And anybody could just 1-800-FLOWERS, but hey, go out and force them. Pick flowers and give them. That's something. But nonetheless, it's a small token, yet the appreciation for that small token is great because that means somebody is reinforcing my idea that they're thinking about me, that I deserve to be thought about. And They thought about me. They called 1-800-Flowers, or they went out into the forest, and they were thinking of me when they were dialing that phone or picking these flowers. And now they've given it to me. Now let's go back to that one who has an inflated self-esteem. Flowers, nah, they got plenty of flowers. So all of a sudden, they are attracted. All of a sudden, somebody, instead of flowers, they give them a cruise. They give them an apartment in Manhattan. Don't forget, I've worked in the nightclub business. I've been around Breakfast at Tiffany's, Holly Golightly. And if you don't know what Breakfast at Tiffany's is, Holly Golightly, go read the book by Truman Capote, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's the certain type of woman that I am talking about. And there are men out there, too. There's gigolo men out there. But the gigolo men, they don't fall in love attracted to that rich woman. But with the woman, all of a sudden, that reinforcement, that woman thinks she deserves an apartment, even though she doesn't work. Most men would be going, what? Nobody's that special. But this person here said, yeah, you are that special. You shouldn't work, and I will get you an apartment. You might think it's the money that is attracting this person to the other person. and there is a percentage of it. But for the most part, it's also the reinforcement that, hey, I deserve to be taken care of. And this person is smart enough to realize I should be taken care of. Therefore, he's very attractive to me. Okay, so that's with the reinforcements. Reinforcements are big. Let's get off all that stuff and just let me give you some tips. Reinforce your romantic partner. Tell them they are smart. Tell them they are funny. Tell them that they should not be scared of their future. Reinforce them. Telling somebody they're pretty, or they're good looking, or they're hot, it's not really good reinforcement. It's reinforcement, but only a real shallow person would need that. And you don't have to buy anybody's apartment, because that's like the other side of shallow. I don't know what it is. Anyways, reinforce your partner's ideas they have about themselves. Okay, the next one. The next one's pretty easy. Attractiveness. Yeah, this is where looks come in. Now, here's the thing. Who's to say what's attractive? I understand somewhere there is a society out there on some of the islands in Fiji that consider bald men the most wanted. Who knows what we find attractive? That's on yours, and I don't want to know what you find attractive as far as looks go. But yeah, and by the way, this is very self-explanatory. People find their cup of tea as far as the looks go. Everybody's got a type. Well, not every, I don't know. Maybe everybody has a type. I don't know. I know I have a type, and I'm attracted to that type. I know I don't have a type, and I'm not attracted to that type. So, one thing, one fun note to add, if you want to make yourself look more attractive, do you go out with friends who are better looking than you? Or do you choose friends who are less better looking than you? If you want to look attractive on Instagram and Twitter, do you post pictures of you with friends who are better looking than you to make yourself look more attractive? Or would you look more attractive if you posted a picture of you with your less good-looking friends? Which do you think? Which would make you look hotter? A picture of you with your hot friends, or a picture of you with your not-so-hot friends? Boop, 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 boop. You're thinking about it, by the way. The answer is, get all your good-looking friends together and start taking pictures and go out with your good-looking friends. Because research shows that a person that is surrounded by good-looking people, they become more attractive than they actually are. All right. Last one for the attraction theory. Socioeconomic and educational. We are attracted to people that are socioeconomic and education similar to us. In other words, socioeconomic, big word if you don't know what it means. It's real simple. We used to say low class, middle class, high class. Well, we found out years ago saying somebody's low class ain't that great. So what we do is we call it socioeconomic ladder, where you are on the socioeconomic ladder. Some people are low on it, some people are in the middle, some people are high on the socioeconomic ladder. We are attracted to people that are on the same thing as us, the same plane of that ladder, the same rung. Women, here is either some sad news or good news for you. I think it's good news. Research shows that once you get your college degree, you will not be attracted to men who do not have a college degree. You will be attracted to those that are similar in your socioeconomic and educational. Now, your educational isn't tied to your socioeconomic, but we all know an education is the way to move up that socioeconomic ladder. No matter what the media is telling you, education is almost the only way to climb that ladder. Almost the only way. Being Bill Gates' son, it's kind of a good way to climb that ladder, don't you know? All right. Even men are not attracted to women, and this is research. Men are not attracted to women that have higher IQs than them. They did a thing where they showed men women's IQs and then asked and gave the men their own IQ. So let's say the man's IQ was 123. Then they showed them a bunch of women from, like, let's say 115 IQ to 141 IQ. They chose one right in those low 120s. Why would you not want to be with somebody who's smarter than you? Aren't we funny as human beings? We're not attracted to somebody that's smarter than us. I know why. I mean, it's our pride, especially for guys. That, by the way, that's why the research shows more men will not date a woman with a higher IQ. So it goes both ways. Women won't date men who aren't as intelligent, and men won't date women that are more intelligent, which just sucks, man. Can you imagine as a couple? If this person brings this person up, whether this person's a man or a woman, can you imagine? Oh, but instead we kind of let this one die down, and then we find somebody who's already at this level. And don't you like this? It's like I'm going to do puppets maybe next time. Yeah. So I don't know. I know I didn't have. I know I'm the exception. Hey, there's an educational thing for the theory. I'm an exception. Thank God, Sheila, who had a college degree, when she fell in love with me, I didn't have a college degree. I'd never been to college. So she was actually one of these exceptions that lifted me up. All right, so that is the attraction theory. Inward. Let's go with the relationship rules theory. Relationship rules theory. And the relationship rules theory states that that relationships are held together by a set of rules. These are kind of what we call unwritten rules. I mean, when you date somebody and you commit to them, I don't think you ever tell them, okay, now we agree, we're not seeing anybody else, right? You don't have to tell the person that you just got engaged to not to sleep with your best friend. You don't have to, those are unwritten. But those are kind of, society writes those rules and we know about them. But there are some rules that are unsaid that, I don't know, people don't really, excuse me, I'm drinking coffee, believe me, that they really don't know these rules exist. And then when all of a sudden the relationship breaks up, they wonder why. So the relationship rule theory states that a relationship is held together by a set of rules. When one or more of those rules are broken, the relationship may suffer and may ultimately end. So let's get into these rules. Let's first start off with friendship rules. So once again, in order to be friends, there's kind of a set of rules. And when some of those rules are broken, maybe that person is not your friend. All right, so friendship rules. Number 1, standing up for your friend in their absence. Standing up for your friend in their absence. So in other words, you're with a group of friends and they start talking trash about me and you're my friend. So they're saying how Mark Janus is so obnoxious. We know he's hyperactive and we know this, but geez, this guy is so obnoxious. I can't stand him. If my friend is there and doesn't say anything, and I find out about it, our friendship is going to suffer. Like I just said, why didn't you stick up for me? Why didn't you say anything? Now, let's say what my friends are saying are true. Let's say I am obnoxious, and let's say I'm a pain in the ass. Now my friend comes in, and they're talking about how obnoxious I am. How's my friend supposed to stick up for me? Is he supposed to say, no, he's not obnoxious? Well, he's my friend. He knows I'm obnoxious. Do you say, don't say that in front of me? It's not really sticking up for me. You're just kind of saying, go talk that trash about Mark Janus away from me. I don't want to hear it. It's not sticking up for me. So how do you stick up for somebody when especially what they're saying is true? Boo, 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 boo. This is how. You say, you know what, you're right. Mark Janus is obnoxious. Jesus, he's obnoxious. But let me tell you something. If I'm ever arrested and I'm thrown into jail at 4 a.m. and I need to get bailed out, Mark Janus will be the first one I call because I know he will be down here at 4:30 with the bail money. He is the most reliable guy I've ever known. When he gives his word, he means it. So yeah, he might be obnoxious, but you guys should be lucky to have a friend like Mark Janus. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's sticking up for me, man. That's a true friend. The next one is in friendship rules. Be happy for your friend's success. Be happy for your friend's success. This is where a lot of people can find out if they're really truly somebody's friend or not. If one of my friends in the past, if one of my friends, let's say, if they won the lottery, which they did, but if they won the lottery, 10% of me would be happy for them. And 90% would be saying, why didn't I win the lottery? Why didn't I win the lottery? They shouldn't win the lottery. They only bought the ticket once. I buy the lottery every week. I'm not happy for them. When I look back, they weren't really my friends. They might have been coworkers. They might, and we're going to find out, the next lecture, friendship, awesome. They were a coworker. Here I thought they were my friend, and now something good happened to them. And guess what? I'm really not all that happy. I'm envious. That means they're not my friend. Yeah, isn't that remarkable? You'll know what your true friends are. In fact, my hand to God. Only, this happened last year, but I remember somebody telling me something that happened to them that was real good. And I looked at them and I was so happy for them. And then I said, I got to tell you something. You must be a true friend because normally I would be like 90% envious and 10% happy. But you know what? For you, I'm 90% happy for you. And then I'm like 10% still angry it wasn't me. And the person laughed. And that's true. There's still that little bit, but it's an overwhelming feeling of happiness for the other person. In fact, here's the quote. If it couldn't happen to me, then I would want it to happen to you and to be genuinely happy about it. And the last one about friendship. And this one, really think about this one, guys. Really think, wow, I'm changing. Finally, puberty. Really think about this one. The last friendship rule is trying to make your friend happy when you're together. Try to make your friend happy when you're together. Now, the heck does that mean? Am I supposed to tell them jokes and juggle for them and give them money and all that? No. It almost means the opposite. If you're my friend and we go out together, I don't want you to be miserable the whole damn time. I'm in a great mood. You're my friend and you're going to drag me down. Then you know what? Call me up and say, you're not feeling good. And if you really need my support, then explain to me what happened. But don't come out to have a great time where I might spend $250 that night on a nice bottle of wine, a nice meal, me, Sheila, my friend, and their girlfriend or boyfriend. And then my friend is miserable the entire time. That's not a friend. Now, I know this might sound weird because you might say, well, why can't they act the way they do? Well, they can, but a true friend doesn't ruin somebody's evening. Got it? A true friend could have something very bad happen that day to them. And then when they go to their friend's party that night, they keep it to themselves. It's a big acting trick, actually. It's called putting an emotion in your pocket. Your cat just died at 2:00, but it's New Year's Eve and you're hosting a party. You take that sadness and you put it in your pocket. And you have happiness because you're the host of the New Year's party. Now, the trick in acting is that even though you're happy, if you're a great actor, you show just a little underlying sadness. But that's in acting where we want that. I'm just saying, you got to take that sad emotion, if you're truly this person's friend, put it in your pocket. Now, without showing any sadness, go out and have a good time with your friend. If you can't, then just cancel. But don't make your friend's time with you miserable. You can, but call them up and say, hey, you mind coming over and listening to me bitch for the next hour? I really could use somebody to beat up on. Then you'll find out if they're your friend. All right. Those are your friendship rules. Let's get to romantic rules. The first romantic rule. Now remember what we're doing. The rule theory states that you will stay in a relationship, unless one of these rules are broken. Then you may, the relationship's going to be harmed a bit, but you may also exit. So, obviously, I took a pause during this, so I'm a little off. All right, so here's your romantic rule number 1. By the way, I consistently talk about if I had a list of the top 10 things that I want you to learn from the class. This first romantic rule would be right on that list. Here it is. Recognize that each person in the relationship has a life outside the relationship. Realize that each person in the relationship also has a life outside of the relationship. What does this mean? Well, I'll show you. Hang on. I just built this model. It's a Starsky and Hutch car, which was a TV show when I was a kid. I didn't build this car when I was 9. I didn't build this model car when I was 12. I built this model car last year when I was 59 years old. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Go get him. Look, the hood opens. There's an engine in there and everything. I'm a 59-year-old guy who's building little model cars. I bought Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels. Because when I was a kid, you just took a Hot Wheel and dropped it. Now they got Hot Wheels that are remotely controlled. I look at the package. It says for ages 4 to 12. I'm down here in where I live in the summertime. She lives back up north. My cat did indeed die last week. My hand to God. I was sad. I needed to get away. I needed to build model cars like this. I needed to play my... Go, she told me. Go. Sheila's never told me I'm immature. Sheila looks at the Hot Wheels and she might roll her eyes a little bit and go, Jesus. But she's never been negative about it. She lets me do what I want. Now, letting the person have a life outside your relationship doesn't mean you're going to let that person date. But they're going to have interests that you don't. Let them have those interests. Let them have those interests. I was talking to two men. They were in a same-sex relationship. And their problem was one played video games and the other one loved sports. The one that loved sports didn't like video games, and the one that liked video games hated watching sports. I'll never forget, I was talking to them, and then I left for the summer. And when I came back, they said, we worked it out. I said, how's that? They said, well, he's playing video games now, and I'm watching sports on TV. And I said, really? Do you like the sports now? And the guy said, no, I still hate them. And I said, do you like the video games you're playing? And he went, no. I said, so who told you guys to do this? And they said, you did. I said, no, I didn't. I never said that. You play your video games within reason. And you watch sports within reason. You give the person a life outside their own. My mother has her second husband is a hell of a man. He was a pitcher in the Marines. He pitched. This guy knows more about baseball he forgot more about baseball than most people know. The nicest guy in the world. He never got a chance to play professional baseball. But he loves baseball so much that he would actually pull over if he sees a softball game and watch the game. It doesn't matter who's playing. He loves the sport. When I ask my mom, what's Richard doing? She says, oh, he's watching his shitty sports. She says that right in front of him. Because she doesn't like it, she puts it down. Don't put down stuff that your partner loves just because you don't. Let them have it. Let them have it. No matter how stupid. Sheila collects kittens. Look at this thing right here. You think that's me? Do you really think I imagine that I would be in a house that has a stuffed... I don't even know what the heck this is. What the heck is this? I don't know. And there's a button on it. I'm scared to press this button because I'm sure it's going to sing for Pets Alive, it says. So this thing's going to do... Are you kidding me? What is this thing? You know what this thing is? This is what Sheila likes. So therefore, I put that there. And you know what? I put that there. Wow, I didn't plan this out. It worked out pretty good, huh? I hate that, but Sheila loves it. Sheila hates that, but I love it. And you know what? They're both in the same house. Wow, I love that lesson. Okay, now I got to bring those things to school. Okay, now that thing's kind of freaking me out a little bit. It's kind of looking right at me, knowing I don't like it. I might have trouble sleeping this evening. All right. Next. So recognize that each person has a life outside of the relationship. Next, reinforce each other's self-esteem. We just talked about reinforcement. You got to do it. My self-esteem relies on two things. One, I'm funny, and two, I'm creative. I need Sheila every now and then. Oh, and I also want to be loved. I need Sheila every now and then to say, that's funny. Wow, that's good. And I love you. I need those reinforcements. If they don't occur, the relationship may be damaged and may ultimately end. The next one, be faithful. That's the one that we pretty much know. Be faithful. But be faithful also means not only not sleeping with other people, but you don't talk with your friends about sleeping with other people. You don't check out women, or you don't check out other men. You don't. You stay faithful. What else? The last one, spend substantial time together. Now that sounds funny because I'm down here down south. Sheila's up north. I'll be down here for 4 days, but you know what? For those of you who know me, you know I hate cell phones. I don't carry a cell phone. I don't even want a cell phone, but I got one because when I drive many miles, and if I break down, I need the cell phone. I could leave my cell phone at home, or I could bring it here and then my cell phone sits in my bag sometimes for, I think like 3 weeks maybe before I pick it up. I got a landline, by the way, so it's not like I don't talk to people. But when I get down here, I'm physically not near Sheila, but I do make sure I call her. I called her this morning at 8 in the morning. When I'm done with this video, I'll call her. I'll call her again before we go to sleep. I'm still spending time with her together on the phone. If I were not to call her and say, I'll see ya, I'm not spending any time together, even if it's on the phone. There's a problem with that. All right. And the last one, as far as rules go, family rules. All right. So we did friendship rules, romantic rules. Here's your family rules. First of all, there's a rule about what you can talk about. So if grandma has a habit of taking her teeth out at the table and eating and then putting them back in, maybe your family rule is you don't talk about it. Yeah, we see what grandma's doing. Just let her be. She's old. You learn these family rules at a young age, because maybe at 5 years old you go, oh, grandma, you got your teeth out. That's gross. If you were in my family, you'd be eating your dinner with up in your bedroom if you even got the dinner that night. So we kind of learn these family rules at a very early age. There are some people that have mental illness in their family. You can't talk about it. Cannot talk about it. There are some that have alcoholism in their family. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Rule number 2, how you can talk about things. So first of all, what you can talk about, and then how you can talk about it. So let's say I do have an alcoholic uncle, Uncle Ted Kennedy. No, Uncle Ted. And I say, wow, look at Uncle Ted. He's drunk. My mom might say, no. Uncle Ted's not drunk. He's just happy. He's happy. And that's what we call Uncle Ted when Uncle Ted is happy. In fact, when Uncle Ted passes out from drinking too much Jack Daniels, we say, wow, Uncle Ted is so happy he fell asleep. Uh, we might have family members that might have a kid brother who is mentally challenged, and they might refer to him as, "Hey, where's the retard at?" Now, retarded is actually a medical term, but somehow we don't use it anymore. It's become one of those words that are ugly, especially when you call somebody retarded. We call them, there's other things like mentally challenged. At the very least, slow. So some families might refer to that person as mentally challenged. Others might say, your brother's slow. And others might just say the retard, which is extremely sad. I'm just letting you know there's family rules. I'm hoping a lot of the families, one of the rules is you don't call your young brother a retard. However, who knows what those rules are? But if you do have a role where we call our brother mentally challenged, we call Uncle Ted happy, you better stick to those rules, because if you don't, there might be some problems. And the last one on the family rules, to whom you can talk about these issues. So first, what you can talk about. Next, who you can talk, how you can talk about it. And now it's who you can talk about it with. Once again, these rules are, you usually learn very quickly. My father got paid on the 1st and the 15th of every month. The 1st and the 15th. So we knew on the 1st and the 15th evenings, my dad was going to come home, pay the bills, and then we were going to listen to him say, I just paid all the bills. I've got $5 left for 2 weeks. $5 for 2 weeks. How am I going to eat lunch? Blah, blah, blah. Every 2 weeks, it was the same thing. I've only got $5. I've only got $5. Well, one day I went and I asked Mrs. Geppetta, my next door neighbor, how much money Mr. Geppetta had once all the bills were being paid. Because my dad only had $5 left. Well, needless to say, she was offended that I asked about their family budget, and she was appalled, though she seemed quite interested, that I was giving my family's budgetary concerns. She called up my mom and let her know that I was telling everybody in the neighborhood that after my dad pays all the bills, we only have $5. How was I to know I wasn't supposed to say that? Well, I heard it through the upstairs, through the downstairs. The family room was filled with that. I've only got $5. The dining room, I went in the bathroom, I heard my father's voice. I've only got $5. Why wouldn't I tell people that? Well, my parents explained to me why, but they didn't explain the way I'm explaining it to you. But believe me, I never told anybody since then until now that my dad only had $5 until payday. So those are the family rules. All right. What other theory? Yes. I told you I'm going to give you 4 theories, but I'm going about on the hour. Yeah, I'm at 57 minutes. So I'm going to give you one more theory on this, and then we're going to end this one. And so let's do this last theory, which is called the social exchange theory. The social exchange theory states that you will stay in a relationship as long as your rewards outweigh your costs. Let's back up and think about economics. Sales minus costs equal profit. Sales minus costs equal profit. You will leave your relationship when there's no more profit. But instead of sales, we have rewards. So, if you put this on a scale, you have your rewards and you'll stay in the relationship. But if your costs get too high and your costs outweigh your rewards, you will leave. Now, here's the tricky part. Some of my course promotion for this course says, I will teach you that you will never again look at a couple and say, why is he with her? Or why is she with him? Well, this has to do with the social exchange theory. What is a reward for another person might actually be a cost for another. Moments ago, we talked about finding a spouse, a partner in life that is smarter than you. To me, that would be a reward. But as research shows, a lot of men think having a spouse that has a higher IQ is actually a cost. He or she slapped me. That's a cost. Physical violence. They only slapped me once. That's a cost. But they're worth $20 million and I never have to worry about anything in my whole life. How much cost will you have before the rewards of $20 million goes? Will you still be with that person who's got all that money once that money's gone? What about that real good-looking woman that you're with, that when you walk in a room, everybody goes, oh my God, wow, they're lucky to have that person. Guess what? Those looks, that reward, those looks are going to fade. Is that the right reward to have? Children. I always thought it would kind of be nice to walk into a relationship where the woman already had 2 kids. One is 5 and one is 7. No diaper. I get an instant family. No changing diapers. The one's 5 years old already. Yeah, they might wet the bed every now and then. That's cool. But no diapers. This is great. And they're in school. I don't have to worry about my days. And this is great. For another person, finds out that that other person has 2 kids, they're out of there. You like that? They're out of there. So what are rewards and what are costs? Watch the Housewives. Any of them. Housewives of Orange County, Housewives of Beverly Hills of New York. Their costs are so high. I mean, the husbands cheat on them. They just absolutely awful. They cheat on them. They treat them lousy. It's obvious they're just with those women for their looks, because once those women get older, they get their whole bodies augmented, their chest, their noses. They're still doing it. These guys are absolutely horrible to their wives. What could be the reward? Well, most of these men are rich. Most of these men have money. But a funny thing is happening in the 8 years I've been watching these housewives. They've been making their own money. And they've been leaving their husbands at a very rapid pace. I want to say their names, but it'll show that I know too much about them. But Ramona Singer, all right, there, I said it. She's pushing her own Pinot Grigio. So all of a sudden, that reward of money, they've got their own money. They don't need that reward. And all of a sudden, that scale goes, boom. And on the other side, don't be too mean to those people that are suffering from physical abuse. We'll talk about this in my video that will be labeled The Dark Side of Relationships, but I often would disparage people that are with abusive partners. Why don't they get out? Why would you put up with that? Not necessarily physical violence, but I've been with couples where the women will go, this guy's a moron. I've been with couples where the guy goes, oh yeah, she's a total bitch. Why would you stay in a relationship where those people are doing that? I could never figure it out until the social exchange theory. Maybe that person has no other place to go to. Maybe this is why on the lower run of the socioeconomic educational ladder that we just learned about, maybe those people can't get out of that relationship quite yet because they don't have the money. They have no place to go. And though they're getting yelled at in this relationship, it's still better than going back home where they get physically violated. Yeah, the cost is I'm being verbally humiliated, but the reward is I'm not getting physically abused. Isn't that sad? So I don't now look at people and go, why is that person with that person? I asked Sheila once, could not figure out why she was with me. I'm not good looking. I'm not all that smart. Yeah, I'm creative, but only recently have I shown my creativity, learning how to play instruments and stuff like that. I could not figure out what the reward was. There were costs. One, I was pretty much broke at the time. 2, no college education. 3, I was from a whole different world than her. Just the costs just kept going. And when I asked her what the reward was, because I didn't think I brought anything to the table, she brought it all. And I finally asked her, what are you getting out of this? Why are you with me? And she said, you're the only guy who's ever made me laugh. Hey, I think it's a goofy reward, but for her, that's golden. So now I'm always putting on a show. Hey, keeping her laughing. It was good to know. It was good to know. That was the reward. Because you know what? She didn't need me for money. She had her own. She didn't need me for security. She had her own. She didn't need me for a place to live. She had her own. But she needed to laugh. And here comes me. All right. What else do I want to talk about the social exchange theory? That's about it. All right. I got any more theories to talk to you about? I do, but I went past an hour. And we're good. You guys have learned quite a bit with these theories. Because they're very important. All right. That is it for this. On our next video, we will be discussing different types of relationships. Yes, online relationships, friends with benefits, regular friends. I do believe we will also, if I'm not mistaken, be talking about, about friends. I love this friend thing, so we're going to find out a lot about it. And also about the different types of love. So, yabba dabba do. Have a great time after you watch this video. I know I've been talking about these things called short stacks. For those of you who are using this out of the college IT chat, you don't need to subscribe, but we're about to hit the summer break in a little while. And we've also got a spring break coming. You might want to subscribe to this because I know I've been talking about these things called short stacks. But after I make this final video, these videos are good. They're going to hold up for a couple years. But I want to keep teaching other things. So I'm going to make these like little 5-minute things called short stacks. And the first one is going to be about faking it before you make it. So if you are a student of mine, meaning actually at the college IT chat, you don't have to subscribe to this, but you might want to. So when I start making these short stacks, you get the notification for them. All right. Once again, thank you for viewing this. Please leave any comments, questions, concerns you have. Start a conversation with other comments that you see, whatever. Next video I'm looking forward to making. And remember, the main thing of this video, let your partner have a life outside of the relationship. All right. Easy for me to say. All right. As my Starsky and Hutch car are there, and whatever the hell that thing is, I don't know. All right. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace. Later.